My name is Judy Maytaf. I'm 27 years old, and for 2 years I thought I was in a real relationship. Looking back, it feels like I was the only one who believed it. At first, Ryan made me feel like the center of his world. Texts in the morning, late night calls, plans for the future that always sounded so certain. But then came the little things, the kind of red flags you convince yourself aren't that big of a deal. Like the evenings when we'd pull up to meet his friends, and he'd turn to me in the car with that practiced smile. Just give me 5 minutes to say hi first. You know how guys are, it'll be boring for you. 5 minutes became 20, then an hour. Eventually, I just sat in the car scrolling my phone, pretending not to care. When he came back, he'd ruffle my hair like I was a kid waiting for a parent. You wouldn't have had fun anyway, Judy. Guy talk, you just feel out of place. I told myself he was protecting me from boredom, but deep down I knew he was protecting himself from me. The truth revealed itself at Romano's, a trendy Italian place Ryan had been raving about for weeks. Candlelight flickered across the table, soft music humming in the background. I thought it was one of those nights that could bring us closer. I reached across the table, lacing my fingers toward his hand. A simple gesture, one I thought would feel natural, but the way he jerked his hand back was as if my touch had burned him. Judy, seriously, don't. He hissed under his breath, darting a glance around the room. His shoulders tightened, his jaw clenched. I froze. Don't what? Don't act weird. People might see us. The words felt like a slap. People might see us, as if holding my hand was something shameful. I pulled back slowly, feeling my cheeks flush. My voice cracked, but I forced the words out. I'm your girlfriend, Ryan. Isn't that normal? He sighed, leaning away, his eyes already sliding down to the glow of his phone. You don't get it. Can you just act normal? You don't exactly fit my aesthetic. Aesthetic. He said it so casually, like I was a throw pillow that didn't match his living room decor. He typed something quickly on his phone, the glow reflecting in his glasses. I watched as he angled the screen, snapping a photo of the plate of pasta in front of him. He tilted it carefully, cropping me out completely. A caption appeared, "Dinner for one, treating myself." My chest tightened. I barely touched my food. Ryan carried on like nothing had happened, chatting about influencer drama and his gym routine while I sat there staring at the tablecloth, tasting humiliation with every silent bite. On the drive home, I kept my hands folded neatly in my lap, staring out the window at the blur of city lights. He kept talking like the evening hadn't cracked something deep inside me. That night, lodging awake in bed, I couldn't shake his words. You don't fit my aesthetic. For the first time, I realized something terrifying. Maybe Ryan didn't just hide me from his friends. Maybe he was trying to erase me from his entire world. After that night at Romano's, I started noticing what had always been in front of me. The silence of my existence in Ryan's world. His social media was alive with curated perfection, gym selfies and crisp lighting, latte art at boutique cafes, rooftop parties where the skyline glittered like a movie backdrop. But me, I was nowhere. Not a reflection in a window, not the corner of my hand reaching for a drink, not even the back of my head in a crowded photo. It was like he had surgically removed me from his life. I told myself it was harmless. Some people are private, right? Some don't like putting relationships online. But then I'd see his relationship status single, his dating profiles, which he claimed he deleted, still very much active, looking for something serious. I felt the sting of betrayal without the evidence of a kiss. The final confirmation came at his company's rooftop party downtown. He needed a +1. I thought it was finally my chance to step into his world. In the Uber, he gave me conditions. Just tell people you're my friend from college. And don't start conversations, okay? This is about networking for me. My chest tightened, but I nodded. I was used to minimizing myself for him. The rooftop was glittering. Fairy lights, champagne glasses, clinking laughter echoing against the skyline. Ryan slid seamlessly into the crowd, smiling, shaking hands, leaning close to whisper in someone's ear. And me, I stood alone by the appetizer table, a glass of flat soda sweating in my hand. I must have looked like someone's +1 who'd been forgotten. When Ryan finally introduced me, it was to Marcus. Tall, charismatic, with that casual designer stubble Ryan envied. "Oh, Marcus, this is Judy. We went to college together. College friend, that was all I was." Marcus gave me a polite nod before turning back to Ryan. "So you're really single. That's crazy. Someone like you, Ryan laughed low and smooth like it was a compliment he deserved. I know, I'm just picky. Haven't found someone on my level yet. I was standing right there. Really? What about your friend Marcus nodded in my direction. Ryan glanced at me, then back at him, smirking. Judy, no, she's not my type. More like friend zone material. They laughed. Marcus, Ryan, even a couple of people nearby. The sound cut into me sharper than broken glass. I didn't argue. I didn't cause a scene. I simply set my untouched drink down, walked past the glittering lights, past the laughter, past Ryan's carefully built image, and slipped into the night. In the Uber home, the driver asked, "Rough night." I just nodded, holding the burn in my throat. That night, I made a decision. I began collecting everything. Screenshots of his dating profiles photos. He'd cropped me out of posts where he pretended to be single. Not to ruin him, not even for revenge, but because I needed proof. Proof that I wasn't crazy. Proof that I wasn't imagining the eraser. And somewhere deep down, I knew this was only the beginning. It didn't take long for the proof to find me. One afternoon, my friend Mia slid her phone across the cafe table. Her face was pale, her voice quiet. Judy, I think you should see this. On the screen was Ryan's Bumble profile active 2 hours ago. My stomach twisted as I scrolled. The photos were all ones I had taken. Him leaning against my kitchen counter. Him laughing at a bar we went to on my birthday. Him holding a latte in that coffee shop where I used to sit across from him. Only in his profile the edges had been cropped. Cropped to erase me. Cropped to make me look like a stranger who'd never been there. His bio read, marketing professional. Looking for someone who matches my energy. No time for games. Seeking something real. Something real. I almost laughed. That evening I waited for him in his apartment. Ryan walked in, tossing his gym bag by the door, still humming with endorphins. When he saw me sitting on the couch with his Bumble profile open on my phone, his smile faltered. Judy, what's this supposed to be? I lifted the phone. Active 2 hours ago. Care to explain? He rolled his eyes, reaching for the fridge. Oh my God, it's not active. I just check it sometimes for fun. You're being insecure. Insecure. My voice rose, trembling. You told your coworkers I was just a college friend. You told Marcus I was friend zone material, and now I'm supposed to swallow this. Ryan peeled open a protein shake, leaning against the counter like he had all the time in the world. Networking, Judy, you wouldn't understand. This is how things work, and honestly, he paused, his gaze cold, calculating. You're not exactly girlfriend material for someone like me. The room went still. I blinked, trying to process. Girlfriend material, he shrugged, sipping. I have a reputation to maintain. My career, my image, it all matters. You don't fit into that. I need someone who complements the brand I'm building, not someone I have to hide. For the first time, I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I didn't even argue. His words slid into place like puzzle pieces I'd been trying to force together for months. I stood, walked past him, and gathered my things. The jacket I'd left on his chair, the charger on his nightstand, the book I'd been reading by his window. Piece by piece, I collected the fragments of myself he hadn't yet erased. Ryan finally looked up from his phone. What are you doing? I'm leaving. I said steady, but, Judy, come on. Don't be dramatic. We're fine. I placed his spare key on the counter next to his untouched protein bar and slid a folded note beside it. You were right. We were never really together. Then I walked out, closing the door behind me with a finality that echoed in the hallway. For 2 years, he'd erased me from his life. That night, I erased him from mine. For weeks after I left, Ryan was silent. No calls, no texts, no explanations, just absence. And then, like clockwork, he resurfaced online. My friends started sending me screenshots. Ryan with a new woman named Madison. She worked in his department, the one he'd conveniently forgotten to mention. Their feed was a carefully constructed fairy tale. Matching gym outfits, champagne brunches staged, couple selfies with golden hour lighting. The captions were nauseating. When you know, couple goals. He finally had his aesthetic. I won't lie, it stung. Not because I wanted him back, but because I wondered why she was good enough to show off while I had been hidden. Was her smile shinier, her body leaner, her wardrobe curated enough for his brand? But then came the twist. One Tuesday morning while sipping my coffee, I saw it. Madison had posted another glowing couple photo. Ryan's arm wrapped around her shoulders, both of them laughing into the camera. It looked perfect until I read the top comment from someone named Lisa. Thanks for helping me realize my boyfriend was cheating. Glad you were okay being the side chick. Hope it was worth it. 200 likes in under an hour. My eyes widened. I clicked on Lisa's profile. There she was. Photo after photo with Ryan dating back nearly 8 months. Shots of them at his apartment at his parents' house vacations I'd never heard about. And the comments under Madison's post turned into a war zone. Screenshots spilled in. Lisa sharing texts where Ryan promised her Madison was just a work friend. Madison's friends defending her. Strangers chiming in with popcorn emojis. The man who hid me because I wasn't good enough for his image had just been exposed for something far uglier. He wasn't even good enough for his own lies. For the first time, I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel pity. I felt distance, like I was watching a play I had once auditioned for, but never got the part. Ryan had erased me because I didn't fit his brand. But now his brand was collapsing in real time, unraveling post by post, comment by comment. And for once, I wasn't the one humiliated. I closed my laptop, leaned back in my chair, and let the silence settle around me like armor. For the first time in years, it was quiet. The silence didn't last. It began with text from an unknown number. Judy, it's me. Please don't block this one. I need to talk to you. I know you probably hate me, but something happened and I made a huge mistake. Please just call me back. I can explain. I didn't reply, but I didn't block him either. Some part of me was curious, like slowing down to look at a car crash. The calls followed his voice, frantic, spilling from voicemails. Judy, listen. That girl Lisa, she's crazy. She twisted everything. You know me. You know I'd never do that to you. Another, I realized you were the only one who actually cared about me. Madison, Lisa. They don't matter. You mattered. Then came the pounding on my apartment door one Sunday morning. I opened it, half dreading, half expecting. There he was, Ryan. But not the polished version, his shirt, wrinkled hair, messy eyes, bloodshot from lack of sleep or too much drinking. You can't just ignore me, he said, voice breaking. We had 2 years together. I stared at him, my hand still gripping the doorframe. Did we? Because I distinctly remember you telling Marcus I was friend zone material. His jaw tightened. That was just, I don't know, stupid networking talk. I didn't mean it. You mean you didn't mean to get caught? That's not fair. His tone shifted, desperate now. Neither was making me wait outside your life while you pretended to be single. I almost laughed at the irony. You hid me because I didn't fit your brand, Ryan, and now you want me back because your brand collapsed. He stepped closer, his voice softer. I know I wasn't perfect, but you didn't fight for us either. You just gave up. Gave up. My voice cracked with anger I hadn't felt in months. You spent 2 years treating me like a secret, like a burden you had to hide. What exactly was I supposed to fight for? His shoulders sagged, his rehearsed charm stripped away. For us, for what we had. What we had, I said quietly, was you being embarrassed by me in public and using me for comfort in private. That's not a relationship I want, not anymore. For a moment I thought he might cry. His eyes glassy, his lips trembling, but the tears felt hollow, like every performance he'd ever given. Please, Judy, he whispered. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. I shook my head slowly. Funny how you only realize that after the world saw what you really are. I stepped back out and let the door close between us, his face disappearing into the narrow line of shadow. On the other side, I heard the thud of his palm against the door, then silence. And in that silence, I felt something I hadn't in a long time. Freedom. 6 months later, life had a new rhythm. I had met Daniel at a friend's housewarming. He wasn't flashy or image-obsessed. He was steady, warm. The kind of man who introduced me as my girlfriend Judy within 2 weeks of dating. He never once hesitated to hold my hand in public, never cropped me out of photos, never made me feel like I was an accessory he could swap out. By the time my oldest friend Mia's wedding rolled around, Daniel and I were inseparable. He insisted on driving us there, his hand resting casually on mine the whole way. The reception hall was glowing with soft lights and laughter. I felt at ease. For once, I wasn't hiding in the shadows. Daniel made sure of that, and then I saw him, Ryan. He was standing near the bar, a half-empty glass in his hand. The shine he once carried, the pressed suits, the curated aura had dulled. His posture sagged. His eyes darted around the room like he was searching for an audience that no longer cared to applaud. Judy, his voice carried across the room, cautious, hopeful. Daniel turned protective but calm. Friend of yours. I exhaled slowly. Someone I used to know. Ryan approached, forcing a smile. You look good. His eyes flicked toward Daniel. Really good. Thank you. I slid my hand into Daniel's with deliberate ease. This is my boyfriend, Daniel. Daniel extended his hand, polite but firm. Nice to meet you. Ryan hesitated before shaking it. Yeah, you too. Then turning back to me, he added quickly. Actually, Judy and we dated for 2 years. We were pretty serious. I tilted my head, my tone calm but razor sharp. We had different definitions of dating, apparently. Daniel squeezed my hand, grounding me, his quiet presence more powerful than any defense I could muster. Ryan's smile faltered. Can we talk privately just for a moment? I think there's been a misunderstanding. I shook my head. No misunderstanding, Ryan, just a reality you can't rewrite. The band struck up a soft melody and Daniel leaned in. Shall we dance? As we walked away, Ryan's figure shrank behind us. From the dance floor, I caught sight of him sitting alone at the edge of the singles table, his glass empty, his shoulders heavy. Meanwhile, Daniel twirled me gently under the warm lights, laughter spilling from me like it hadn't in years. For the first time, I didn't feel like someone's secret. I felt seeing chosen love without conditions. Ryan had built his life around appearances. Daniel built his life with me in it, and the difference was staggering. A few months after Mia's wedding, Daniel and I moved into a small apartment with creaky floors and sunlight that spilled across the kitchen in the mornings. It wasn't Instagram perfect, but it was ours. We didn't stage our lives for an audience. Our photos were messy real. Me in one of his oversized hoodies, him cooking pancakes with flour on his nose, both of us laughing too hard to care about the angle. And for the first time, I didn't worry about being cropped out. Sometimes when my phone buzzed late at night, a flicker of old panic would surface. I half expected to see Ryan's name again, his pleas, his apologies, but I never answered, and eventually the buzzing stopped altogether. I do wonder sometimes if he learned anything, if he ever connected the dots, how he made me feel invisible, and how Madison and Lisa made him feel disposable. If he ever realized that the brand he was so desperate to protect crumbled because it was built on lies. But honestly, I don't wonder for long. Because while Ryan wanted a brand, Daniel wanted a life. Ryan needed someone who fit his aesthetic. Daniel wanted someone who fit his heart. Being loved in private had felt like a rear. Being loved in public feels like sunlight. Now when Daniel reaches for my hand, he doesn't look around first to see who's watching. He just holds it. And I never question if I'm enough because with him, I always am. Ryan was a chapter, Daniel is the story. And I finally learned these